As we've been reporting, Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Friday in Florida. The two men held face-to-face talks for the first time in nearly 4 years. The meeting took place just one day after the Israeli leader met with President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris separately at the White House. For more on all of this, we have Jon Alterman. He is a senior vice president and director of the Middle East program at the Center for Strategic and International Studies. Always good to have you with us. So let's start off with former President Trump's claims, because he says that he was the most pro-Israel president in American history. But he also criticized Netanyahu's handling of the war. He's also pushed for a ceasefire. What do you make of their relationship and his articulation of what he wants to see happen if he should become president?
I think, frankly, President Trump likes keeping people off balance. On the one hand, he wants to talk about how good he was for Israel. He doesn't want Israel to take him for granted. He was very upset with Prime Minister Netanyahu for congratulating President Biden on his victory in 2000 in the election. And I think that there's a way in which Donald Trump feels that he did a lot for Netanyahu. Netanyahu didn't always do things for him. There was a complaint that he made that when it came time to assassinate Qasem Soleimani, the head of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps in Iran, Netanyahu was with him and then backed away the day before. So there's a little bit of frustration. But as Trump looks to the American audience, he says, there's nobody who's been as good to Israel as me. And for a lot of his supporters, that's very important.
Yeah. And it's interesting that it isn't merely Jewish supporters, but also his Christian conservative base that he's trying to appeal to in his.
There are more conservative Christian Zionists who are strongly pro-Netanyahu in the United States than parts of the American Jewish community, which is divided on Netanyahu.
Yeah, very interesting. All of the politics that are so much at play here. The Biden administration was also pressuring Netanyahu to move forward with a ceasefire deal, getting those hostages back home. But we also understand that Israel and the coalition government has put together a new round of demands. What can you tell us, John, about how those negotiations are going?
Nothing is going to happen until Sunday when the Knesset goes out of session. With the Knesset out of session, it'll be out of session for 3 months. That means that Netanyahu's right-wing coalition partners can't bring down the government if they're upset with a deal he makes. I think he really starts negotiating on Sunday. I think it's still going to take a little bit of time. The fact that the CIA director, Bill Burns, went to Rome this weekend is a sign that the Americans think it's close enough, that senior officials are really putting time into this. But my read of where the Israelis are is they're not quite ready. Netanyahu comes across as quite strident, but actually he's quite risk averse. And when Hamas had an Israeli soldier prisoner, Netanyahu negotiated for 5 years to get him out. So I think that this, one of the people released, by the way, was Yahya Sinwar, who currently commands Hamas in Gaza. So my own sense is that we're still going to be a little bit away, but I think we are moving in that direction. How far we go, it's conceived of as a 3-phase ceasefire with releases. I think we'll probably get to the first phase in the next several weeks. I'm not sure we'll get to 2 and 3.
All right. Jon Alterman, thank you.
Thank you.